James Gunn discusses DCU's Batman, emphasizing a focus on character, story, and a thoughtful approach to casting, without revealing details. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. For fans who are curious about who will become our next Bruce Wayne/Batman, James Gunn has provided the most substantial update yet, in an interview with the Ringerverse. He revealed that multiple actors are currently being considered for the role, but it's important to note that no decision has been made yet. We'd have to screen test, we'd have to do the whole thing. It's unlikely that I'm going to hire someone that's like Sylvester Stallone as Batman, where we're just hiring him. It's unlikely that Batman's going to be one of those guys. But it's possible. I know one actor in particular who's a pretty big star who wants to be Batman. We've talked about it, but I'm not sure that's the case. This careful approach is akin to how David Corenswet was selected after an extensive and deliberate process. And even here, Gunn spoke about the film story, saying, "The script isn't done. I mean, we've got somebody writing a script, I think it's really good. But it isn't finished yet." At least he's being honest about it instead of pretending everything's already perfect. James Gunn has finally given an update on DCU's Batman that promises to excite the Caped Crusader's devoted audience. In an interview with YMH Studios, Gunn confirmed that the upcoming The Brave and the Bold's narrative is moving forward in a way that prioritizes character and story over debates of costumes and fan theories. "None of those things are what's most important to me. What matters is the character, the story. And I think we have a really good story now for what's happening with Batman. Superman has already laid the groundwork for the new cinematic universe, and fans can't help but wonder about Batman's place in the upcoming events. After all, we've been giving very little about the movie, except for a working title. There hasn't been any official news on the casting or what the story might feature. But it seems like that has changed because apart from confirming that there's now a solid story, Gunn has also spoken about his plans with The Dark Knight's potential actor. He hasn't given away the name, of course, but still, it's something, considering his long-standing silence over the subject. With Corenswet's Superman costume, he was comfortable with giving him the classic undies-over-pants look, despite the amount of ridicule it received. Gunn was confident that the actor's sincerity in playing the hero and the narrative is what will carry the movie to the finish line, something he seems to harbor even in the case of The Brave and the Bold. So, what are your thoughts on Gunn's approach? Do you think he's headed in the right direction? From James Gunn's words, he seems inclined to cast an actor who's not very well known, but can play the part brilliantly, much like what he did by casting David Corenswet. According to his YMH Studios conversation, he's also not fixated on the small things like the color of the cape or Batman's belt, and is prioritizing the story over everything. James Gunn dismissed demands for a blue-gray suited Batman, stating the reverence the character had in pop culture and prioritizing story. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. James Gunn doesn't give a damn about DCU Batman's comic-accurate suit. None of those things are important to me. Batman fans have been notoriously particular about who plays their favorite hero. He is one of the most popular superheroes in the world, and all live-action iterations have faced some controversy or another. From Michael Keaton to Ben Affleck to Robert Pattinson, all actors have faced intense backlash when announced, only to be accepted post-release. However, James Gunn is really in a tricky spot when it comes to Batman, as Matt Reeves' version has already been a hit, and Robert Pattinson's Batman will not fit in well with Gunn's DCU. It is currently an Elseworlds project, and the delay in the sequel has also led to a delay in The Brave and the Bold, as the studio does not want two Batmen on screen so close. James Gunn just dismissed fans' demand for a classic Batman with a blue-gray suit in the DCU. He stated that such demands were divisive, with no fan agreeing with the other, and such elements were not a priority for him at the moment, as the co-chief of DC Studios. While Ben Affleck's suit has been the grayest so far, the blue has not been seen in live action. George Clooney's suit was sort of blue. When asked if he would be bringing in the classic comic book accurate Batsuit, Gunn said in the Two Bears One Cave podcast, "None of those things are what's most important to me. What matters is the character, the story. And I think that we have a really good story now for what's happening with Batman. There have been no concrete developments regarding Batman, The Brave and the Bold, which is set to be the solo movie on DCU's Batman. However, the Caped Crusader has already made his first appearance, albeit in animated form, in Creature Commandos. There's a religious aspect to so much of this stuff that's very uncomfortable because, should Batman have white eyes? That's a big subject of conversation. And it's like, guys, that's really what matters. But those are the things they care about. Should his utility belt be yellow? Should he have the yellow crest around the bat? All of that sort of stuff. The filmmaker mentioned how he has been asked about the comic-accurate blue-gray suit for the Caped Crusader, but has also received contradictory demands from other fans. Hence, he mentioned, it was not important for him, and that he prioritized story over everything else. Gunn has also been front and center as the co-chief of DC Studios and regularly takes questions from fans. So, fans no doubt have demands for their favorite characters, and Gunn cannot just say he did not listen and did his own thing. Some might say that it is not possible to do Batman without it being gritty, and to them, I say, Adam West's Batman existed. James Gunn said in the podcast that the Batman he fell in love with was the 70s Neil Adams comics that took the character back to his dark and brooding roots after West's version mellowed him down. Reading the sort of early 70s Neil Adams Batman comics that were much darker and grittier. And I was like, oh, I like this Batman. You know, I had seen the sillier Batman. And I'd seen the sillier Batman on TV, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it was supernatural Batman, too, which is something we've never seen Batman in, like a sort of supernatural environment. While Gunn may say that he is fond of a supernatural Batman, it is highly unlikely that such an iteration would make it into the DCU, as Superman and Peacemaker have already established the tone of the franchise. We had incredible takes on Batman with Zack Snyder's DCU and Matt Reeves' ultra-realistic The Batman. The DCU's Batman will have to double down and go the absolute Batman way, or fans will have to make do with a lighter caped Crusader. What do you think James Gunn will do with Batman in the DCU? Comment below. James Gunn's Superman has finally managed to beat Zack Snyder's Man of Steel in terms of profit at the worldwide box office collection. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. With a streaming release date of September 19th, James Gunn wanted to ensure that people could watch the DCU flick because Peacemaker Season 2 delves heavily into the concepts introduced in the 2025 flick. Well, with a recent streaming release, Superman is currently dominating the streaming charts as the film is the most streamed film on HBO Max around the world. James Gunn's Superman has finally managed to beat Zack Snyder's Man of Steel in terms of profit at the worldwide box office collection. Superman box office. James Gunn beats Zack Snyder's Man of Steel in profits after conquering HBO Max. Well, James Gunn's DCU was all set for motion, and Superman was going to be Gunn's tentpole on which the entirety of the cinematic universe would be based. Fortunately for the director, Superman